And hi everyone, we are Colin and Miles. I'm Miles,
I'm Colin.
just for clarification. And this is,
This is Hank.
yes, he is a fussy guy. And this is a special edition, if you will,
Hmm.
of the Colin and Miles show. I know. I don't want Joe Biden to win either.
It's a special edition because we're only talking about one thing, which
Listen,
is not, um,
no, Biden is going to lose. It's okay. I guess
okay. This is a special edition because we're only talking about one thing, which is not like,
typical for what we do in the Colin and Miles show. We usually talk about multiple things.
yes, random things. So we're talking about,
The debate. And Hank is upset he's going to leave us now. But cue the intro for the debate special. And we are here without the Biden hating cat that is Hank. Um, he is off somewhere doing cat things.
he's eating.
He's eating. All right. Well, we are doing this debate special because after the debate last night, Colin handed me her notes and they were fantastic.
And I don't usually after the last debate, I didn't even, I wasn't even sure if I was going to watch this, but then we got home and turned it on, and I was like, okay, this is easier to watch, easier to understand. Each person is talking in their designated time slots, and I could actually pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept thinking of all these things as they were talking, and so I made notes. But before we get into that, um, we have determined that I am a fireball, which is the opposite of a snowflake.
Cue Pitbull.
I'm a fireball.
Fireball. Because I guess this is my opinion, but snowflakes are
They,
people on the left who get upset with people who don't agree with them, right?
yeah.
So I'm a person on the right who gets upset if people don't agree with me.
But
And
she has facts and information behind her. So that's
I just get very emotional and very angry at people when they're not agreeing with the same things I agree with, and
or if they're just not making sense generally.
all the people I seem to follow on social media and YouTube are on the other side, and it one day just made me so angry, and then I said, "Oh, I'm like a snowflake, but I'm on the other side, so what's the opposite of a snowflake? A fireball, because too much snow makes me melt."
You
That's what he said.
mean too much fire? Oh yeah, too much. Oh
Oh wait, it doesn't make me melt. Too much snow puts me out or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Too much snow puts you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then she just adds gasoline to her own fire and then just writes all these notes during the presidential debate, which we're going to go over now.
Yes.
And if you're panicking at home right now, don't. Um, I'll let you read your note here.
Biden said Americans don't panic about the pandemic. Was he there when people were hoarding toilet paper? If that's not panicking, I don't know what is.
I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man. It's all about round the clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
So, he was talking specifically about how President Trump, during one of his video or his audio recorded interview, said how he allegedly knew much sooner that it was more dangerous than it was, and that he was holding back information. And there's a reality is the government doesn't tell us everything. In fact, I think we have become just detached generally from what goes on outside of our own borders, much less what goes on in our intelligence community. Can I get a heyo, General Flynn? And Roger Stone, who were railed by the intelligence community, maybe? Okay. Um, but her note says,
Well, we all know that the government doesn't tell us everything. And to me, it's sort of like heaven. Supposedly, when you die and you go to heaven, you'll know everything, but we don't have the mental capacity to know everything right
yeah,
now. So it's sort of like that. And let's be honest. Do you really want to know if Asgardians are on Earth?
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
I mean, maybe. I would.
That's a little nod to like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we're watching that and Marvel.
Ah,
And
but we digress.
but okay.
I'm kidding.
And most people would panic if they found out that Area 51 was real.
Yeah. You mean they got aliens down there? I don't want to be butt probed. So, when the Supreme Court nomination came up, and for those of you in the future who are watching and thinking, well, what's Supreme Court nomination? Amy Coney Barrett. After the late Justice Ginsburg passed, rest her soul, is Trump, following suit with history, made a nomination to the Supreme Court. And the Democrats, who didn't get their way with Merrick Garland in 2016, because out of the 10 times or 11 times possibly that a president made a nomination and the Senate was of a opposing party, only 2 justices were confirmed, compared to all but 1 were confirmed when the president and the Senate were the same party. And that goes historically with advice and consent of the Senate. I mean, if you just read the Constitution, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
So everyone's making a big to-do. Oh, well, healthcare is at the center for confirmation. And
That's because the Dems made it the center because they didn't have anything else on her.
Yeah.
So she's a good person.
I mean, it's amazing. There's a report, I can't remember where I saw it. They were talking about that they were investigating her adoptions. You guys are a bunch of disgusting crab rabbits, if you will. I didn't want to curse, but I don't know.
I don't know what a crab rabbit is. Now I'm just thinking of like a crab and a rabbit, like half crab, half rabbit. That's pretty interesting.
I was thinking more of like an STD that multiplies very quickly. So
You can tell where our minds are.
clearly different places.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they can't find anything else on her, and they can't really railroad her like they did Kavanaugh, all because it's an election. Although I will say, if it wasn't, you better believe that Dianne Feinstein would be saying the dogma lives loudly in you.
So this is just my opinion, but I don't really care if the president shares his tax returns or not, because that's not why I vote for a president, like for their tax returns.
You deducted $101 from your tax returns for this reason. I can't vote for you.
And I just think that's a violation of privacy.
But remember, the failing New York Times claims that they got copies of his tax record showing he only paid $750, for his income. Let's completely dismiss his income from 2017 onward has been all but $1 donated to charity.
I know, and I think it was hilarious when he said he prepaid his taxes.
It must suck to be that rich. I mean, like I don't I don't enjoy taxes as much as any God-fearing patriot, but it's God to have that much money and that know you're signing a check over to Uncle Sam. Poor guy. You gotta feel for him because guess what? Every logical person in their right mind tries to save money when it comes to taxes. Who wants to pay the government more? Anyone here? No. Hank, put your hand down. Freaking cats. All right, moving on. Trump doesn't tell people what his plan is, so no one can take it later.
Yes.
Explain on that one.
Well, Biden was saying like that Trump hasn't told anyone his healthcare plan. He hasn't told anybody.
Oh, his response to COVID.
Anything. He hasn't told anybody anything. Well, I think it's because he doesn't. Well, this could be a thing because he doesn't want people to take it later and say that they came up with it when actually he came up with it.
Well, yeah, and I think that goes to speak to his ego. But I mean, a lot of President Trump's plan responding to COVID-19, China virus, Szechuan shivers. What else do we have? Swine flu.
That's swine flu.
No, that's not this. What else is it called? Szechuan shivers, the Wuhan fever. Yeah.
I don't know. That was just my
Oh, yeah.
There's probably more to it than that.
Oh no. I mean, I think, because the plan is not it's not a one size fits all. You can't just throw a plan at it, in my opinion.
It might have to change.
And drastically. I mean, just look at Dr. Fauci. You don't have to wear a mask. Oh, you do have to wear a mask. Your masks don't protect you from the soot that's in the wildfire smoke in California. So what are we wearing masks for? 85% of people that got COVID reports wearing a mask at all times outside in public. What?
You mean soot, not suit.
Soot. Whatever. I say words weird.
Okay. So, well, I don't know. We don't have to talk about the next one.
Which one is it? Affordable. Oh, yeah.
Trump had a health care plan.
Yeah, and McCain didn't vote for it. It's to get rid of Obamacare in its entirety.
Yeah.
It's up. Yeah, and
I learned that from you.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on what bill that was, but Trump, McCain went, and all for a personal dislike of President Trump,
and that's not what politics is for.
And John McCain had significant, health issues later on in his Senate career. And it goes to say I don't think he would have made that, if he was, in the right state of mind. I really don't. And I'm not saying he was, out of his mind, but he was clearly as distraught over his relationship with, President Trump and, lack thereof rather, and, the hate back and forth and comments from one Orange Man Bad character, that people like to say, oh, well, he hates our veterans with. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a real concern with Sleepy Joe Biden and how he's acting last night. And there was a study published by the Congressional Pharmacy that shows that they have prescribed enough dementia medicine to keep 3 adults medicated full time for dementia. Think about that. So it's not weekend at Bernie's, it's weekend at Joe's. All right, moving on.
Biden's healthcare plan has been endorsed by labor unions. That's reassuring.
It's not.
Was he trying to sell it to us? Like that's a reassuring point?
Honestly, at this point, I think anything that, he's just an old man and if he, let's say he's playing cards against himself, like war or something. He's sitting there, like, oh, that's so nice, yeah. And then he pulls out like a high card, a king for who would be his opponent. I'm guessing this is his debate prep with President Trump because he's not cognitively there in order to debate. And so he plays down the king. Oh, that's a great. Oh, that's Trump's card. And so I don't really think that.
I don't really get your analogy, but
Well,
it's funny.
my analogy is with respect to labor unions. Yeah, it's that's just something he says to reassure himself. Like at first he say, "Oh, that's a great card," and then it's not because it was not his card.
Oh.
So as I mean, if you told him 106 koala bears in China, jumped twice in the same hour that someone that he spoke about his healthcare plan, he'd probably attribute it to that because he's so far gone.
I also noted that affordable health care is not really affordable.
Imagine that. What happens when the government gets involved? I'll tell you what. All right. If you want to see socialized medicine failing, go to the VA. Now, Trump's done a lot of wonderful things with the VA, but I'll tell you what. It's a great example of how to waste a hell of a lot of money not getting nothing done. And it's going to return to that if Biden is elected. Wholesale. It will return to shiitake mushroom care.
At one point during the debate, I was like, it's just a he says type thing, because Trump would say, well, you did this, and Biden would say, well, you did this, and you have accounts in here, and you have accounts in this country, and it's like, how do we prove that? We can't prove a lot of things that they're throwing around. They're just,
Well, hold on. You gotta believe, because I'm talking to you and your family. Like, one of the best things President Trump does was make fun of him on a grand scale. Oh, I'm here for you and your family.
We're talking about COVID, but now let's talk about families at the dinner table.
Yeah, it's like, like, he doesn't want to talk about the issue. And, as he's being a politician for 47 years, he has done nothing except for lock super predators, aka black people, away, in his own words, super predators. And I mean, in 1973 he used a racial slur on the House floor. So you tell me, I mean, this is a guy who gave a eulogy at Robert Byrd's funeral. Robert Byrd, a KKK Grand Clan, whatever. I don't know what they're called. I'm not familiar with the organizational structure, but he was a high-ranking KKK member. All right, moving on.
Biden talking about raising the minimum wage. He said there's no evidence that raising it will put companies out of business. And I said, are you a businessman? I didn't think so.
Well, oddly enough, his son Hunter is in the oil, or was in the oil and gas industry.
The oil industry he's trying to eliminate?
No, yeah, well, no, this was in, Ukraine. I mean, but I see where you were going with that.
Well, I look like an idiot, but
no, you don't. It was a really good segue, if you will, into Biden's really stupid comment towards the end of the debate, which was, "But we have to transition." Okay, so you've effectively put a termination date on the oil. Congratulations, smart. There goes Pennsylvania, and President Trump says, "Oh, way to go, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Oklahoma." And I'm sure you heard me go, "Yeah, Oklahoma."
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you didn't hear me. It was like me watching that debate was almost like my dad watching sports on TV. Like, I was yelling at them. It's like I was yelling some of this stuff in my notes.
Ridiculous.
So a lot of stuff happened under Obama's administration,
Yeah.
but he can do no wrong in the Dems' eyes. Their administration built the cages, apparently.
Yeah, they did in 2011. I believe they constructed a lot of those cages along the southern border to hold children. And I saw a tweet, and I'm going to flash it on the screen from this woman who is a corporate attorney. Okay, let me put that back on the screen. She says, "How do wolves carry a full human? Are you kidding me?" Or coyotes, excuse me. Coyotes. How did you pass the bar exam?
Also, immigrants, like illegal immigrants, were deported during Obama's administration. You can just watch the Disney Channel and we could put a link to it below because I found the video on
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
They have these segments called Usa tu Voz, which means use your voice in Spanish because it was Hispanic Awareness Month. And one girl who's like in high school now said that her dad was deported when she was a kid, which that would have been during Obama's administration.
Oh, incredible.
So, they deported people
They
and
separated
they put it
individuals.
on the Disney Channel?
They put a lot more on the Disney Channel nowadays. All right. So,
The next was a joke, kind of. President Trump was calmer. I said maybe he was on drugs also to calm him down.
yeah, instead of piping them up for energy, because you saw Biden checking his watch multiple times, and you're just like, "Is your medication running off?" And then he started like doing these slur things and like closing his eyes, like, like, okay, I can do this. Like, I mean, you tell me that guy's not on meds or something?
But I also thought that President Trump was too like cocky at times.
Imagine
I don't
that,
think
President Trump with an ego.
I don't think he should have said that Lincoln was a possible exception to a president that has done more for the Black community. Even if it was a joke, I think that was in poor taste.
Yeah, I agree.
And you should not compare yourself to
The late great
Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
But all right, so Biden didn't have a lot to say.
Under Obama's
Under Obama.
administration.
Oh, okay.
And does Pence have a lot to say under Trump's
I think for what he's accomplished in carrying out the largely conservative agenda, and as president pro tempore of the Senate, making sure that a lot of good judges were confirmed to federal courts.
Well, I was just thinking like Trump like fires all these people because they're not loyal or because they make him angry, and has he just not fired Pence because he's quiet, because he just follows the president, or is it just because
Well,
he
the
likes
vice
him? We don't
president
know.
can't be fired.
He can't.
No.
Well, he was running again with him though. He didn't pick somebody else.
Oh yes, I see. Oh yeah. Well, you fired. Yeah, I see what you mean. Can you imagine like Trump cruise ticket or Trump? Who would he have picked in?
I don't think he could have picked any of those people that he ran against. I don't think he could have done
that. Trump and low energy Jeb. That'd be great.
All right. Biden said character is on the ballot, and I say character isn't on the ballot. Your names are. That's all. Mic drop.
Hold out your hand like this, like you're holding the mic, and then open it. All right. We'll put an 8-bit mic on there for you.
I also thought the Democrats are the racists. They see all the colors, but not all the people.
Completely accurate. You tell me when the big switch occurred. Was it in 1860 when we elected the first Republican president that led to the Civil War because he wanted to guess what, in slavery, or was it in the 1960s when the National Guard had to be activated by, oh, what's that? A Republican president to ensure integration occurred? Or was it in the 90s when Donald Trump was winning awards from the NAACP? Huh. I wonder when this fixed me. Oh.
Are you boring yourself?
Yeah, probably. All right. So
I agreed with Biden on people not going to jail, like for drugs, but the problem is most people get caught doing drugs while they're being caught for some other offense that they probably should go to jail for.
imagine that.
So, I don't know. That's all I have to say, I guess.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Okay.
And that's all I gotta say about that. Love you, Tuffy. All right. Trump, why didn't you get it done? The same way you haven't gotten stuff done, you don't have the votes from the lovely House and Senate.
And neither did Obama, Biden.
Yeah.
That's all. It's because they don't have the final say on these things.
Imagine that.
They just put the
Separation of
bills out.
powers exists? What?
I know. And if they don't get it voted on, then
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
no. These windmills kills
No. Climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change is not an existential threat to us. I and we know how the world will end. And you can know also if you read Revelation, the last book of the Bible. But maybe this is the beginning of the end. Only God knows that. The electric windmills, the large white ones with the blades.
Why can't they be black?
Well, I've never seen
White poor windmills are just as good as black.
Okay. Well, the large ones, not the old windmills.
The windmills that generate electricity.
I said electric windmills. I was just, telling them, not the
making sure. Yep.
Those kill birds. Did someone tell PETA?
No, because PETA was too busy chiming in about an LGBTQ identifying capuchin monkey. So PETA is not the same as they were 30 or 40 years ago.
And Biden laughed at that comment that the windmills kill birds. But they do. He can show you. The environmental impact studies on windmills, which are conveniently neglected whenever we talk about green energy and transitioning, also neglected is the fact for every watt of green energy, we have to have a watt of natural gas energy to back it up through coal, fracking, etc. Because guess what? If the wind don't blow, you aren't getting energy. Yeah.
It's that simple. And they conveniently leave out the parts of the impact on the ecology or the habitats that are around it. It does happen. And so, it was a funny comment by Trump, to say the least. I know about wind.
I know more about wind than you do.
Wind than you do. So, probably because, Anyways.
Biden was lying about fracking.
Yeah, let's show our oily, or old Joe and his oily memory.
I am not banning fracking. No more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill. Period. Ends. Number one. Let me say that again. I am not banning fracking.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
No matter how many times Donald Trump lies about me.
So clearly Joe's a little forgetful.
So, show him the tape.
Yeah.
First of all, are you living in the 20th century?
I don't think Biden understands. Like his Twitter account's very active. I don't believe he's actually hit a tweet button before. I know that they probably hand him an iPhone and hi. Oh, it's upside down. Can you flip your phone? You're upside down. Flip your phone. I mean, he doesn't understand how a tape works. I mean, does he think that, he's sitting there with I would seriously put money on him finding a VHS tape recording, I got you. And going to, someone in his family named David or say, David, would you upload this to the internet? I don't know how. VCR only has the red, white, and yellow cords. Do I put it in the CD drive? It won't close when I put them in the CD drive. David, help me.
He doesn't sound like that.
Honestly, we don't know what he sounds like because half the time he, is sounding like, the thing. And Come on, man.
And by the way. Also, we've seen the so-called tape. It's on the internet. We just showed it to you. Also, I find it hilarious that the Democrats, who are so woke, picked an old white guy as their candidate.
Well, that's because I don't have an answer for that.
Because they can push him around when he gets in there.
The weekend at Bernie's, only a joke.
Okay, finally, I feel like if Biden wins, Republicans should say, not my president, but that's not going high when they already went low, if you catch the reference.
To be fair, I don't think, Biden's going to remember the morning he wakes up, if he was to win the day after inauguration. I don't think he'll wake up and remember he's president. Jill, what are we doing back in the White House? We're in Barry's bed. Barack Obama's going to be so upset.
Barry?
I guess that's a nickname for Barack.
Did you just make it up?
No, I've heard it before. I have heard it before. Anyways, for this special edition of the Colin and Miles show.
What are you doing?
Say
I'm Colin.
I'm Joe Biden. I'm at the debate.
What are you doing?
I'm lost. Wait, Joe Biden. Bye.
Bye.
Come on, man.